We've got Alfred, we've got Carl, welcome. Mr. Al, big time Al there. Appreciate you on the siren net always.
Morning.
Mr. UWI. Yeah, we let you
Hello.
hang out too. We got Drew, we got Ken, we got Sam. Welcome, Sam. We got Mike, HHT. And that's all I see.
Drew gets the longest distance award.
Yeah. Where's he, across the street?
Indiana.
Oh, Indiana.
That's
Yeah.
a fair piece. Yeah.
Thank goodness for Zoom. And I am Wayne, KK5IL. Thank y'all for coming. All right, let's move on into the presentation. I'm going to give us over to Mr. Clayton.
I think I'm going to take it. But go ahead and give that to LaVon if we can get her mic'd up. Okay. While I say a bunch of bad things. Well, it's
so they can read
yeah.
Yeah.
Recordings and all that stuff. LaVon is a ham KG5 GWO, has been involved in many projects across the Oklahoma City area. She's most recently, shall we say, from the Mid-Dell area, and has done a bunch of stuff in that part of the world, done a lot of stuff with emergency management, emergency communications. Now has jumped off into leading what will soon be the statewide hospital radio network.
Fingers crossed.
We started with one or two, thinking we might get a few, and we've got a bunch of them. She'll tell you all the good news here shortly. But she is our leader of the Oklahoma's hospital radio network. So since she's now mic'd up, I will pass it over to her. Thank you very much, LaVon.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So yeah, my name's LaVon, I'm KG5GWO. And Mark Klein came up with this little website down here. You know, if we can get to it, the okarl.org.hrn. He attached it to his website for me, and I'm like, yay! So if you have any other questions or want to get more information, you can look that up there too. So we're hoping this will be great. So. Okay, are you going to be my control operator? Okay. All right. So a little bit of the history of how this thing came to be. Back in December of 2021, last year, we were sitting down in the MAC, down by the zoo and stuff, doing one of our wonderful Coima drills. And afterwards, we were doing a little hot wash, just discussing why we only had one hospital check-in that entire morning. And well, we kind of figured out, you know, a lot of hospitals don't even have ham radio operators on staff, and they don't have any volunteers to come in. What the heck are they going to do during an emergency? You know, are they going to call somebody? You know, cell phones are going to be down, staff is going to be busy. You know, what can we do to help out the hospitals in case of a disaster? And, you know, if you lived in Oklahoma long enough, you know, we're going to have a disaster, period. In fact, okay, did anybody here attend that initial trauma scene responder a couple of weeks ago? Anybody? No? Well, in that training, we learned that Oklahoma is ranked #3 in the country for declared disasters, only behind California and Texas. We are also ranked #1 per capita for federally, you know, claimed disasters. So, you know, we are no stranger to disasters, and our hospitals have to have a backup to a backup to a backup in order to survive and keep going and stuff. So I had this crazy idea of creating a co-op of ham radio operators, you know, on a little Excel spreadsheet. So if something happens to one hospital, we can just like call or text or say, hey, can you go over to this hospital and help them out? So I kind of like started a short one. Right now it's got like maybe 10 people on it, but you know, I'm hoping to grow it a little bit more. Local hams who would be able to help in emergency situations. And we don't want it just in Oklahoma City. We want it to do metro wide. And then of course, you know, other people heard about it like in Southwest Oklahoma, and they want to do it with their 27 little hospitals down there and do that. And then, you know, I've heard other places, and we've found out Tulsa just this last week had an emergency. So we're hoping to maybe expand up there. And our ultimate goal now is to go statewide. So, you know, dream big, right? Oh, go back. So I went out and I sought advice from some experienced hams. I talked to Clarence Worsler about it. Some of you may know him. And then I talked to Mike Rocky, I talked to Mark Klein, a couple other people who have a lot more experience with ham radios than I do, because I'm just a technician and I'm kind of like mathematically challenged. I am a technician. Okay. I have a license, so that counts. Yes, that was a challenge. Because I'm not mathematically minded, I'm more creative minded. So, but I am studying to get my general very soon. We're hoping. So, but then I discovered that other operators have the same kind of interest in this thing that I do, and they think it was a really good idea. And I'm like, so you think I should pursue this? So like, yeah, go for it. So I kind of wrangled Mark Klein and Mike Rocky into helping me meet with some of the other hospitals and stuff. And, you know, so far we're going for it. So I sent a proposal to Oklahoma City Emergency Management. It's a 2-page email sent to Frank Barnes. He was the emergency manager back then. He has since retired. And I was explaining my project and what my dream was and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, well, I'll forward this on to the people who need to see it. And, you know, maybe they'll contact you. Yeah. You know how it is with the government. Things get lost, put to the bottom of the basket. Never heard any word from her. So then it was kind of like delayed. So next slide, please. But then I started doing some research into why hasn't this ever been tried in Oklahoma City before? Well, apparently it has. Sorry. When I get excited about things, I start talking fast and I forget to breathe. So, you know, if I pass out or something, just, you know, go next door and get one of the really sexy firemen over there to come over and use some CPR or something. Okay. That's inspiration not to pass out. Okay. So back in 2009, the emergency manager who was there before Frank Barnes actually tried to use, or he actually did use some FEMA money, and he bought a bunch of radios for the hospitals in the metro in the Oklahoma City area, and he sent them out and set them all up and got them going, and didn't keep any records and didn't follow through, and the hospitals got, you know, changed hands, changed management, people left, moved away, new employees came in. The hospitals took the radios. Oh, we don't need this. Put them in a box in a closet. We don't know what happened to them. We don't even know what kinds of equipment is out there. So all we know is that FEMA money was spent on radio equipment, and we don't know where it went, who got what, where, when, why, or how. So over time, yeah, the hospitals merged, sold, or changed management. So we don't even know if any current employees of any of the hospitals are licensed technicians or licensed radio operators anyway. So yay, we'll get to y'all in a minute. Okay. Enter, yeah. So now our current vision is to use amateur radio operators at hospitals to help out in emergencies, so they can communicate with incident command. They can like sit in the parking lot with their handheld radios. They can go into the emergency rooms and help out, you know, communicating between emergency rooms, between hospitals, or even like in between departments, you know, like some upstairs and downstairs, and, you know, from the emergency room to, you know, the ICU or something. You know, that's just a dream. And they can also be used intra-hospital between the different hospitals, or like SSM has the main hospital and their different satellites and stuff like that. And so we're hoping to do that. But also we want them to get out there and do regular communication drills. So that way the hospital staff is familiar with the volunteers. So when, you know, the poop hits the fan, and we come running in with our equipment and stuff, they won't be looking at like, who the heck are you and why are you in my hospital? You know, they will already be familiar with you and know what you can do and know why you're there. So, but we want it to be at least metro-wide, hopefully statewide. So not just in Oklahoma City like before. So we've already been thinking about what different kind of systems that we could use. Of course, our handheld radios and the local repeaters and stuff like that, that would be our primary, because, you know, that's what we do. But we also are looking at the HRN system and WinLink, of course, for the data. And And Mark sent me some stuff about ubiquity. I'm not, that is part of Arden. It's a, yeah. And then DMR, of course, so we can send the digital stuff. But, you know, we always like to have, you know, the hand radio operator, the hands radios, just in case. And all volunteers do not need to be trained on all the systems because, you know, like I said, I'm not mathematically minded and there is no way I'm going to be doing DMR because that's just challenging. Easy for you maybe, but you know, not me. Huh? Yeah. So. But then yeah, we went over this a couple of weeks ago at another meeting. And they said you have to like download it on your computer and you have to do this and then they said it. And I'm just like, I got that glassy eyed stare. Huh? Okay. So, but not all operators have to be trained on everything. If you can talk on your radio, you can help. So, okay. We already have similar programs in the country already in existence. The Hospital Disaster Support Communication System was out in California, Orange County, California. The problem with that one is they only had one person in charge of the whole thing. And she was in charge of the whole thing for 38 years. And then she had to step down because she had cancer. And then she finally passed, or not finally, she did pass away. And they didn't have anybody else who could come in and take over and continue it on. So that's why in our plan, we're planning on having 3 to 5 coordinators in charge or, you know, coordinating everything. Nobody's going to be in charge. But that way, you know, if something happens to one or if somebody is not available, somebody else can step in and take care of it. So, yeah, but the one at Orange County, California supported over 35 hospitals at one time. It said it started with 1 and it just grew and grew and grew over the years and finally got to 35, but now of course it's defunct. But that website, if you Google HDSCS, sorry, breathe. Okay. If you Google, huh? Yeah, okay. If you Google the HDSCS, their website has all kinds of really good information on how to proceed with the hospital radio network or something similar to it. And I'm going to be using a lot of those ideas, you know, in pursuing ours. Also, the Houston area MCOM teams, they have a really good active team right now. They currently support 7 hospitals in the Houston area. And I know there's other teams out there. I know there's one over on the East Coast somewhere, but I couldn't remember. I think it was North Carolina or something. And I mean, there's others everywhere else too, but you know, we're focusing here on Oklahoma. So I'm going to be using ideas from all of them and putting it together to make one really great team. Okay. So the benefits keeps the hospital employees available to do their jobs. It's not going to tie one of them, you know, the ham radio operator employed by the hospital tied to a radio. He's going to be able to go off and do their own thing, whatever they need to do. So we'll come in and help them out. It'll help the hospitals have the ability to contact incident command centers, the EOC, ambulance services, other departments, other emergency services, and we're going to do it quickly and accurately. That's what we do, right? And it will also fulfill new JCO standards effective July 1st, which I have a copy of it here. And I went through it and see all these yellow highlights on here? That's stuff we can do. That qualifies us. So these all went into effect July 1st for emergency management, and we can help by being, you know, their volunteers. Joint Commission. Yes, thank you.
And we're all afraid of those people.
Yes, anytime you hear JCO's coming for an audit, people freak out. So yes, just it's easier to say JCO though for me. I mean, but you know, I used to be in that stuff. So so yeah, we can help out the hospitals meet their JCO requirements as well. So, okay. But some of the challenges, of course, there's always going to be challenges, is matching a radio operator licensing and training with the equipment available. Like we said, we don't know what the hospitals have available in their facilities and stuff. They may have one of those doomsday radios with the knobs and stuff. I wouldn't be able to operate one of those. We may have, the old stuff, we may have the new stuff, we may have digital stuff. We don't know. So we're just going to have to figure out who's got what, where, when, why, and how, and what's available. Locating the hospital radio equipment. Some of this stuff got stuffed in the closet in a box, years ago, or got sold, or got donated, or got even trashed. We don't know. So we got to figure out what hospital has what equipment. Making contacts in the hospitals. That's actually the easy part. We're actually, getting all kinds of people coming up. Hey, I know this guy who's working security at this hospital, or this person works communications at this hospital. And we're like, great, okay, what's their phone number? So we'll reach out to them and stuff. And we have to inform or convince the management of the benefits of using hams, because some management people, for some reason, don't think that amateur radio operators are very valuable. Because they think, well, we have our phones, and then we have our cell phones, and then we have this has been this, and we have this backup, and this generator, and this da 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 da. Well, even just last week in Tulsa, there was an issue, right? One of the major hospital systems, I was informed of this morning. I'm like, it's perfect timing. Up in Tulsa, one of the major hospital systems went down. They could not use their internet. They could not use their phone service. I wonder if they could have done something else to help them communicate to the outside world. Wouldn't that have been awesome? So perfect timing. This is exactly what we need, what we're here for. Paperwork. We don't know what kind of legal paperwork we might need. We might need memos of understanding. We might need contracts. We might need letters of intent. I don't know, but we'll have to look into that and see what kind of stuff we need. And we'd also need permission to gain access to the radios, because they're not going to just let anybody just walk in and walk to their communications room and start, working on their equipment. So we're going to have to get the management on board to let us come in and see, give access to yourself. And, in a major disaster, lots of hospitals are going to be overwhelmed. So we don't know if we're going to be able to manage all the hospitals at the same time. But we're going to have a spreadsheet of who can go where, and we're going to try to work on it. And of course, getting acknowledgement and assistance from the Office of Emergency Management, who are still ignoring me every time I try to follow up with them, and my emails and my requests to speak with Yaz and that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, we'll talk to her. We'll have her. We'll give her your information. Still nothing. So, the one in the MAC. Well, I guess that's Oklahoma City. So we could do like the county, or we could do the state emergency management. So there you go, Dave. Can you try to get a hold of Yaz for me? She's a hospital liaison, right? So.
Galen, I'm sure you help out with the city or county, or I know all the people. Yeah.
So yeah, if we could get somewhere and get some kind of contact within the Office of Emergency Management and get some kind of acknowledgement or help or something, so we could do that and contact the incident command centers if something happens and do stuff like that. That would be awesome. So, okay, next slide. So our volunteer requirements would, of course, be an amateur radio license. I know that's a driver's license, but I love Mr. Bean and I love that face in the picture. So I just had to use it. So, of course, you'd have, in order to be a volunteer at the hospital radio network, we would need you to have a radio license. And Aries membership is preferred because, they have the training of working in disasters and stuff like that, but it's not going to be required because we know some people get the training from other sources like the military, or, if they moved in stuff like that, or they just decided they didn't want to be a member of Aries anymore. So we're not going to require Aries memberships, but we prefer it. We would need availability during emergency situations. We can't have somebody who has to stay home or has to have like a 2-week window in order to ask off for work for a day or something like that. We would need somebody who would be instantly available to run if needed. That's not saying you can't do it like on the weekend or something. So don't let that stop you from volunteering. And of course, transportation to and from local hospitals if needed, and may need to bring your own equipment. I just have 3 handheld radios, but some people might need, an ICOM or, something like that. So, because like we said, we don't know what the hospitals have already available. So you may need to bring some of your own stuff. Okay. And of course, possible hospital requirements for operators. We don't know much about that side, but we know that they're going to require proper identification. They're going to want to know who you are. Like I said, they won't just let anybody come in and work in their radio rooms. They're going to want to know who you are. So they may require you to wear a badge or, show some kind of identification before you get there. They may need to do some credentialing, may need to do a background check. They may need to require you to do the ICS trainings. We don't know. So, and we don't know what their equipment needs are. And, we don't know what else they might need from us or from them. So the hospitals that we are still in contact with or reaching out to, Norman Regional and more Norman. So, but I actually got some maybe good news from them this morning. So maybe. We're also working for Integris hospitals and all their satellites. They're statewide too. So, and we're talking with Mercy and we're talking with Stroud hospitals too. If anybody has any other hospital suggestions, just let us know. We'll try to reach out to them too. So. Oh yeah. Are they Integris? Probably. Anybody know what Purcell? St. Anthony's? Oh, awesome. Next slide. Because guess what? St. Anthony's has already agreed to work with us. Yay. The main hospital and all their satellites. We're trying to work on the Arden system for them, like put nodes on top of their satellites so they can have like a closed circuit going and stuff like that. And this is where I introduced Justin back there in the back of the room to come up and talk a little bit about what we can do for him and his hospitals. Yay! No, Mike is next.
So Levon, I'm Justin from St. Anthony. So Levon and Mark and what was the other guy's name? Mike Rocky came one day and told me about this idea, and they kind of asked what capabilities we had. And so, well, we have radios in our hospital. We can talk to all of our floors, all of our staff. We can talk to our ambulances. We can talk to all of our health plexes in the metro. What we can't do is talk via radio to like Shawnee and Seminole, and then we have 19 affiliates or 21 affiliates across the state, and that gets tricky communicating with them. But we don't really own them. We manage some of them. Some of them we just have agreements with, so it's probably not as imperative. But for sure, the ones in the metro, Midwest, Shawnee, and Seminole would be important. Anyway, so we kind of talked through it, thought, well, this probably really is an opportunity. And Shannon Landsberger, he is one of our licensed folks in the hospital. He's in engineering, works with the engineering folks, the IT folks, so he kind of touches all those people. So we've had some conversations, and anyway, we just see a real opportunity. We're both on the emergency management committee, which helps. We've kind of plugged it there, and depending on who you talk to, some folks are like, well, it's, they're just going to want money. And we're like, no, they don't want money. Promise you. And, but some folks really bought in. It's not often that healthcare organizations have folks that just have ideas to help and want to show up and help and, not be compensated and not be, get anything in return. So that went a long way. And so we're hoping that both of our one-ups were really bought in on the idea. And a couple of weeks ago, we had a big software thing in my department, and my system vice president from St. Louis was here. And turns out her and her husband have been looking at amateur radio, and she saw some of the radios in my office. We got to talking, and I sent her with one of Mark's books. And maybe someday we can get our hospitals from out of state connected via HF, maybe, who knows. But anyway, so we've got pretty good buy-in, and we're just kind of anxious to see, where it goes from here. The good thing about our locations, Shawnee Midwest and our Midtown location, we all have DMR repeaters close, all have VHF and UHF analog repeaters close. The Arden network is right down the street from the Midtown location, so that's helpful. So there's a lot of good opportunities, and we thought we were pretty squared away with our radio system in the hospital, and it's all backed up, and we have redundant internet and all the things you like to think about from an EM perspective. But I guess if every one of those went down, we would be just kind of stuck. I know one of the other metro hospitals, Wednesday night, their electronic healthcare record went down, and they went on divert and didn't take patients all night. So while it wasn't as big a deal as the one in Tulsa, it's still a big deal that affects the rest of the metro hospitals. So there's some real good opportunities, and just looking forward to see where it goes. So.
Remember what talk would you have in the Centercom Center already?
Yeah, so we have a communication center called the Service Response Center. It's where all of our hospital operators are. One of those operators is licensed, and we still have our radio from the previously mentioned FEMA grant. It's an ICOM dual band. I don't remember the model, but the building it's in is 3 stories tall. All right. And the downside to that is the main building across the street is 13 stories tall with the penthouse, something like that. So the antenna's on the roof of the 3-story tall building, but it works. We go by and check it from time to time and jump on a local repeater. The bad thing is the big building blocks it to the east, but it does really good going north and south. So
It's a 2 meter, 70 centimeter.
Yeah, it is. And
There's a repeater on top of Baptist. There's another repeater on top. Well, it's not the top of the community anymore.
Southwestern Medical Center. Yeah, and those are no problem. So yeah. And the operator there usually leaves it on WX5 OKC just as kind of a default. So yeah. So we test it periodically, we make sure it works. They redid the roofing on that building, and it's been a couple of years ago, but Shannon and I went down and tested the SWR. It was good. Like I said, periodically we talk to folks. The operator there, she's not, I think the only time she's ever talked on the radio was on that radio when she has to. So every now and again, I'll talk to her on the way to work, but I have just a handheld in my office, but I told her about it the other day, and I said, we need to just call me and we'll chat on the radio sometime. So but she'll do it. So, but in the event of an emergency, we would all be needed in our respective roles and not be able to chat between hospitals like amateur radio could. I think it could really fill a gap, a much needed gap. So hopefully we'll never need it, but it's nice to have it in place and to test it. So when the time comes, it's not foreign to anyone. So, like I said, Shannon and I have both talked to our leadership and we both report to executives. So it's, the right people know about it. And the things I think they're most excited about, one, it's not going to cost anything. And, there's volunteer folks willing to help. And, we've told them that, amateur radios coordinate the Memorial Marathon. And, we've talked about some of the logistical things that amateur radio does. Midwest City, they do the parade. So there's, it's not like you're going to have a bunch of people show up to help that don't know what they're doing. So, and so far, all the responses I think have been, first they were just very non-committal, but now they're like, oh, this really does sound like a good idea. So that's.
What have we found out about the interference from amateur radio frequencies in the hospital equipment?
Shannon, that's.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so everybody else can hear you.
Go to me, radio operator.
So wireless medical telemetry operates at 608 to 614 megahertz and roughly 1.4 gigahertz. Well, we haven't had any amateur radio interference issues of any sort. So we just don't operate near those bands. So
Do you want to add anything about SSM health or anything?
Justin did a pretty good job covering it.
Down the weeds question that can only be answered by the electrical engineer in the hospital. So are you the electrical engineer in the hospital?
I'm not the engineer, but I'm very familiar. So
Awesome. All
Um,
right. Cool. Thank you very much for helping out. And next we have JD McCarthy. They're a little hospital, well, little compared to, the major hospitals. JD McCarthy, Mike Isaac. We're recruiting him. He's going to be testing at the beginning of the month.
Steady. How does this thing work?
You just hold that up towards your mouth.
Okay. Can everybody hear me? Okay, well, thanks. So when I'm going to take a little bit different tack on this, when you think of a hospital, help me out here and give me some ideas about what you think of when you think of a hospital. What? You're out. You can't. Okay, somebody else. Emergency room, right? We don't have emergency room. ICU? We don't have ICU. OBGYN? Nope. We do. And there you go. We have a unique population of 36, potentially 36 people that are on campus all the time, and they are wards of the state. They have developmental disabilities, and there's no way that you can do the run, hide, fight with them because they stop at, you had me at run. And there's actually a paper on that. So when we do our active shooter training, when we do the stop the bleed, when we do all these other things, we're thinking about that specific population who are wards of the state. We have to get them released from our care before they can be accepted at a different place, right, Diane?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, so we have to do that. So that means the people that are helping us with evacuation in an emergency situation would have to be vetted. We would take care of that with the people that are assigned to our hospital. We're level 4 hospital, and that's why we have certain requirements that we must meet and certain things that we don't do. So when I spoke to Mark about it and David Grizzle, they thought that it was a good idea for us to assign somebody to be there to respond to our evacuation site, to our main site. And then we also have state reporting requirements during an emergency. Our director has to contact somebody in the governor's cabinet and tell them exactly what's going on, how many people we still have left to discharge, how many people we've discharged, state of the hard property, et cetera, like that. So we have a lot of different responsibilities that we wouldn't be able to do if the cell phones were knocked out, et cetera. So when I spoke to Mark, he said, that's exactly what we're doing with the state ham network. trying to get hospitals to get on board. We're fortunate here to have a lot of people plugged into the Norman Hospital who are hand in hand with the Oklahoma State College of Osteopathic Medicine in Tulsa, the emergency rooms in Stillwater, the federal facility in Sulphur, and all sorts of things like that. So we're spread around. I'm also a member of the Regional Trauma Advisory Board for the state of Oklahoma, and we'd like to get those people on board as well, because there's going to be a question about ODRAC, which means those are the clearing stations. If you want to bring somebody into the Oklahoma City area, if you need vascular surgery or neurosurgery, these people have all of the schedules and capabilities of who's there and what their specialties are. So if you're coming from Shawnee into the Oklahoma City area, you call ODRAC and they say, okay, you need to go to Saints because they have vascular surgery today, rather than wasting time going to somewhere else where they don't have the specialties that you need. So there's a wide range of hospital things I think that haven't been tapped yet that we're going to need to do and form partnerships with these people so that we can get these things done, evacuations, continuity of communications and things like that. So that's just kind of a brief overview. Are there any questions that I can answer for anyone based on that? You're not going to jam me up? Good, thank you. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week. Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Diane, would you like to share anything about Norman? Mark told me this morning that Norman is actually more on board than, we had previously thought. So here's Diane.
I just started there 5 weeks ago, y'all. But I'm a administrative director over surgical services. So obviously this would be a critical component if we lost power, electricity and all that. And of course, married to a fabulous ham. So I definitely get the importance of it. And I report to the chief operating officer and then the CEO. So definitely have a direct beeline to those people and have met Shane that's over emergency. So I will facilitate in any way possible. And of course, I want to stay safe and have my husband safe. So he wants to volunteer, in case of emergency as well. So that's about all I can tell you.
Awesome. See, so we're off on a rolling start. We haven't even been doing this for a year yet. Yes, sir. Okay, I'll come to you. There you go.
Okay, so the thing that sounded really great about this to us, and this is just an afterthought, I want to make sure you had it, is that if you guys are going to come out there and sit in a cold car with your radios and doing all this stuff for us, what do we owe you? And so we wrote a memo of understanding that Mark has and he's working with. And we're going to give you a place to sleep if you need it. So in case you need to do things in shifts, and as far as I can tell, ham radio runs on coffee. So we're going to provide coffee. So that's an attractive point, I think. We haven't gotten that far yet because of Mark, but we'll get there. Maybe. And all those things like that, facilities for the restrooms, showers if you're on a different shift, things like that. We will provide those things for you guys who are kind enough to come out and help us and be assigned to that. Also, vetting is very important with HIPAA. So we would do the backgrounds for people assigned to our hospital before the emergency happened. I mean, hopefully as far as you can predict, and make sure that all those things are in place before somebody comes on site. So those are things that we think that you guys need, and we'd be glad to provide them for you. Yes. Yes.
I have a question. I live near 24th Avenue Southeast and Highway 9, and I visited the facility across the street. It's absolutely amazing. Worked in a hospital for 3 years in Colorado, the air tech, drove an ambulance in Southeast Oklahoma in LaFleur County for about 3.5 years, and have worked there for 2 years, plane crash, hang glider, Buffalo Mountain, and semi truck running off the street. So and my heart is in helping people, and I love being around hospitals, and she signed me up if you're going for that one.
Awesome. All right.
Great, thank
We just got our first volunteer. Yay. Well, not our first, but the first one in this meeting. So get with me or Mark after the meeting and I'll get your information and get you on my list. So yeah, this is actually great. If JD McCarthy's offering us a place to sleep, what says I'm going to help give us coffee and donuts, maybe. So anyway, okay. So next slide. Anybody have any other questions or comments or anything you want to add? Yes, sir.
Systems development, focusing mostly on hospital to hospital, commuter, or FM communications, or hospital that maybe a phone patch repeater.
That's one of those things that we're still trying to figure out because we don't know what each of the different hospitals have. Mark, you want to catch that one?
I think the answer is yes to whatever you're going to ask. The obviously the easiest, quickest thing is VHF, UHF from a hospital to a hospital or a hospital to a EOC or something of that nature. Our goal, and Mike said it earlier, was that what can the hospitals do for us? Our goal out of this would be to get some space on the roofs of these buildings so that we could increase our footprint all across the region by putting either VHF, UHF repeaters up or Arden amateur radio emergency data networks so we can pass data back and forth, or WinLink connections through that where you can do email over data from HF, VHF, or Arden. So the answer is pretty much going to be yes. The easiest, quickest thing is that VHF, UHF radio. What's the thing that's going to work most oftenly, most frequently during a bad time is that VHF, UHF radio that most of us have in our vehicles. Guys like Lee that have a box that has all this stuff right in it are perfect for that. You just set him out in front of a hospital and boop, he's got VHF, UHF, HF, DMR, Arden, all in one box to come in and do that stuff. Yeah, ABC, GL, DL, GKUMF, do all the
Entire
alphabet soup. But I think the right answer is yes. The goal would be there to do it all. The backbone, I think, is going to be the VHF, UHF stuff that you can get immediate emergency stuff. Then we roll the rest of it up.
The hospitals. And what you were asking, the hospitals have had for years what's called a HERS network, hospital emergency ambulance radio, and 146,340, I think it was. But anyway, every ambulance in the state, was all tied to that. Every hospital had it. Since a lot of things have happened, it's pretty much gone back and had a lot of dust build up on it, but still that backbone is still there. But as far as amateur goes, there has been nothing. So, I'm looking at it that if it does go statewide, then it might be something that ends up going pretty much like the SWERA network, where we could start tying repeaters in together if that was necessary.
So yeah, but we're not going to be interrupting any of the emergency responders frequencies or anything like that. We're going to be, sticking to our public ones or whatever. So any other questions? Yes, sir.
So when you talk about vetting
Uh-huh.
with all of this, years ago, when I was more active with it, Medical Reserve Corps was doing a lot of the vetting and had the section for amateur radio and all of that. That's what I've been with for many years.
Me too.
Is for this program, is it going to be a different set of vetting, or could you use the Medical Reserve Corps list of radio operators? Or because originally that's what it was intended for,
Right.
was to pull them. So
Okay. Well, the Medical Reserve Corps is its own special agency and they do their own thing. This is something completely different. This is our little roster of volunteers and stuff. And each individual hospital is going to have to decide what all they're going to require. So, I can't speak for SSM or Norman or anything, but I'm sure they have their own things that they have to go through for volunteers, because they have those, the volunteers downstairs in their information desks and stuff like that. So they already have their protocol set up. So it's whatever they're going to want. And like I said, every hospital is different. So if you're going to volunteer for 5 different hospitals, you may have to do 5 different, background checks or something. I don't know. So. But yeah, Medical Reserve Corps is really thorough on theirs. Anybody else? No? Next slide.
Oh, boy, is this a surprise?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I just want to say thank you. And if you have any other questions, there's the website again that Mark made up for us, and forget all the reasons it won't work and believe the one reason that it will. That's what we're going for. We're starting small and hoping for big. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So is that gal the next patient? Is that what we're looking at? Let go. I think we're good. I appreciate that. We're ready for a 5-minute break. We'll run back in here, go to the little restroom, do what you need to do, walk around, finish up the donuts, and say hi to each other before we come back here and start the meeting. Thanks, folks.
Hey, if anyone's interested, we got hats up here. We've got some for free and some for not free.
Do all the free ones say Wayne on them?
They should not be so lucky.
I see. You don't have to buy a Pontiac or a Buick or anything to have
You don't have to buy anything, Dean, just take it.
All right.
Get it out of my sight.
What are the ones that aren't free here?
Those are $15. Go ahead, Dean, get a pink one.
Get a pink one, yeah. You looking for a pink one?
Okay, if y'all want to take your seats, we'll move on forward. Apparently, we need to whiz on through this. There's some kind of important ball game, I'm told, starts at 11, so we got to get done with this. You know, it's all about priorities. So if everybody just take your seat, we'll get started. Thank you. Okay. Let's just start off. I'm just going to start off to say, if anybody knows a good muffler shop around here, my tailpipe fell off and I need to get it fixed. See me after the meeting. The meeting minutes are online at w5nor.org/minutes. If you want to go back, you can read the minutes that goes back as far as they go back. All right, we're going to start off right here with officer elections. It's November, it's that time of year, so we got to do elections. Let me read my little dissertation here. For the position of secretary, our current secretary, Chris Pape, has chosen to run for re-election for another year. Thank you, Chris. Are there any others that want to run for the position of Secretary opposing Chris? Seeing none. Those, I'm gonna call the vote. Those who are for Chris Pate continuing as secretary, please raise your hand. Mark, can we get the gallery up there, please? It's unanimous anyway. Congratulations, Chris, on another year. All right, for the position of treasurer, our current treasurer, Larry Goodwin, says he'll have a go at it for another year. Are there any others that'd like to run for the position of treasurer? Seeing none. Oh, I lost my place. There you go. Okay, seeing none. We'll call a vote. Those who are for Larry Goodwin as treasurer, please signify by raising your hand. Those opposed, do likewise. All right, I can't see anybody raising their hands on the Zoom, so. But anyway, it's unanimous. Congratulations to Larry for being another year of treasurer. All right, and last but not least, the position of vice president, president-elect. This position serves a 2-year position, first year as the vice president, second year as the president. The current vice president, Mark Clayton, will be moving on to the president position for 2023. Vice president position is currently open and accepting nominations. Are there any nominations this time? The chair recognizes Mr. Klein.
I nominate Rodney Barrett. Can we see, get you 5 ZZA. Did you run out on us? No, he didn't. Yes.
Rodney Barrett.
You, what'd I say? Oh, missed it by 1 dit.
Okay, the nomination for Rodney Barrett. Rodney, do you agree? Rodney agrees. Is there any other nominations for vice president, president-elect?
Oh, come on.
That's right. All right, so let's call the vote. Those who are for Rodney Barrett as vice president, president-elect, please signify by raising your hand. Only one hand at a time, please. Okay, I see them online there too. All right, all opposed, do likewise. You're overruled. All right, congratulations, Rodney, on being elected vice president, president-elect. Awesome. All right, at this time, we're going to go over to Mr. Ed. He's going to do the tech report real quick.
I don't know about that. I can probably stomp, but other than that, no. That's right. Yeah, the jaw hurt at the moment. Everything's up and running fine, no issues. It's all yours. I'm gonna go run that.
All right, appreciate it. He's got to bail out to get ready for the siren net, which we will talk about later. All right, Mr. Goodwin, finance report. He's coming.
So.
Here.
Profit loss this month, we've had some. Received some money in from memberships, about $52 or 51. Amazon Smile and Amazon. Two different Amazon receipts. We spent out money for
Associates.
Yeah, associates. Thank you, Peter. Bottom line, we spent out $50 that we did not bring in. Minus $49.68. Testing expense, we bought a printer to go with the new computer. That was
We bought printer ink.
printing ink.
Yeah, the printer was donated by Lee. We bought ink.
Okay. Let me change The bottom line is we've got $2,300 in the checking account, 22,000 in savings, and $200 in the petty cash. So we got about 24,000 overall. Anyone have any questions?
Good job.
Good job. We appreciate you, Larry. Larry's been a rock star.
Yeah, he's still driving the same car, so we're okay.
That's- Yeah, okay. All right, Mr. Clayton, let's see what you got.
I want to thank everybody this year that's participated in all the functions and activities. We've had a lot of things going on in the club this year. I can tell you that we're probably, if not the most active club in the state. And we get a lot of compliments on it. And it's all because of team effort. Everybody in the club helps. No one person is doing it. We all do it together and we make it work. It's a team. And I appreciate that. And we're looking forward to doing even more this next year. So that's important. I want to also thank at this time, since we did the elections and everything, all the new staff coming on and the current staff we have. They do a lot behind the scenes. I want to bring up a few other people. Wayne, our current president, he's done a great job this year. He's been a great president. And I also want to talk about somebody that no one ever sees to as a whole lot behind the scenes. And that's our current Oklahoma section manager, Mr. Mark Klein. I think he deserves a big applause for all he does for this club. Other than that, that's about what I've got. We'll have another program for you in December to finish out the year. We've had some good programs this year. Anybody who thinks that they've seen something on amateur radio they're really interested in, hey, he's going to bring it. I'm going to have him bring it up. I'm going to have him talk about the food. But anybody wants to see items that they see on amateur radio, it's really interesting. Tell us. We'll put them into a program that we can show everybody. That's where we get a lot of these programs, is suggestions. So let me know. Let Mark know. Hey, we'll do those programs. That way everybody can learn about them. Okay. I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Mark Klein and let him talk about all the activities, ARRL, and the rest of the year for the club.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for all the kind words. Second of all, as Lee hinted to, the most important thing of the year is the Christmas dinner, which is at Golden Corral. It will be the Golden Trough. That's exactly right. That way everybody gets something they don't like, which is the very nice thing about that place. The dinner will be Tuesday night, December 6th at 5:30. There's always 2 or 3 of you guys that get there at like 2, and because you can eat all darn day. That's fine. But we'll all be there at 5:30. We will be on the south end of the building. They have a little tiny room at the top, north end, but that won't do for us. We're at the south end is where we will be. 5:30, December 6th. If you wish to be part of the white Christmas, white hen, whatever the gift exchange is, white elephant, that's it. Bigger than a hen. You can bring a gift, $15 maximum gift. No Harbor Freight freebies allowed, Bill Lockett. Oh, that's good stuff is what he says. You can either do a gift for a ham and you can put the word ham on it, or non-ham. So if you wish not to do it, get a ham related prize, you can get one that would be non-ham related. So that's the big thing on December 6th. The bad news is that's the same night as Elmer Night. So Elmer Night will be canceled here. No Elmer Night, December 6th on that event. We've had a ton of, oh my gosh, Lucky's got a new buddy. That's bad news. Lucky's the dog, in case somebody doesn't know. The Hamfests were awesome this year. We've had 5 Hamfests that ended with Enid last week. And anybody win a radio? Oh, he's not here. Jeff Wyke won a $1,200. Jeff's already saw, he won a $1,200 radio. It's not a good one. It's a Yaesu. I didn't think I thought I'd get a better response than that. He's got it for sale already. How much is he wanting for it? Best offer. Okay. Good luck with that, Jeff. But the Hamfest have been very popular for us. We're going to have the Cora Scars as a member of the Central Oklahoma Radio Amateurs. Let me get my company or club name right. And Cora is a member with about, I don't think 8 or 9 clubs now that are Oklahoma City based. And Cora runs the Oklahoma City Hamfest and the Ardmore Hamfest. We've now merged with the Ardmore Hamfest folks, and we ran both of those Hamfests this year. The good folks of Scars are allowed 3 representatives to that group, and that we're the ones that put that Hamfest on. So if you're interested in playing with Hamfest, give me a holler and we will make that happen. Hamfests have been huge. Parks on the Air has been huge. Thanks for all you guys and gals that did all that stuff. Thanks for the Levon for this hospital thing. It's taken off faster than we ever thought it would. End of the year is coming. Good time to join ARRL. If you're not an ARRL member, start up now. Renew your membership. You can do like Rick, who let his expire how many years ago? 69? A little less than that. He rejoined and they still had his mother's address listed on the on their database. Sent his first QSD to his mom. I don't know how it worked. Yes, sir. Good point. Thank you. Point of order on the Christmas dinner. The club will be paying the tip for the evening. So if you come there, buy your food, we'll stack up all the receipts, and the manager said they'll help us figure out a dollar amount for the event, and the club will pick up the tip for it. So you do not need to leave money on the table. You don't have to feel guilty walking out without leaving a tip, and you don't have to steal the money that somebody else put on the table, like Hank always used to do. He'd come take $1 or $2. They'll never miss it. I'll buy, gosh, take it. Nope. Choose a table that's a big tipper is what you're saying? Pre-tips. Yeah, we're not, that's what I made. They were going to do that with us, and the club has always done that where we pay the tip because of cheap people like Lockett who won't leave anything. So we're covering him up. I think that's it. Anybody other questions, comments, etc. before we go on? Davey? Which Golden Trough? Good question. Golden Trough on Main Streets, 123 Main Street. It's up here on I-35 and Main in Norman. It's the one in Norman. Yes. There are more than one nowadays. They have a chain frequency. Thanks for that. You'll see it in the newsletter over and over again. Yes, sir. Sure. You want to tell who you are? Do we have to take a vote on letting him back in? Oh, he paid his dues. He's in. Good to see you, Richard. I'm glad that you came by. His antenna's down, so we'll have to come put one up for you. Wow. Oh, so this is a beg. When would you like to do? Oh, so get some free help. Good for you. If you want to help Richard put up an antenna. Is yours the one that bent in the ice storm? That did a U-loop? Wayne just raised his hand. He'll be happy to help you. We'll get you some help to put that up. Oh, and now it's 3 or 4. We'll help you out. We'll get you going. Anybody else have any questions, comments, issues? I really appreciate it as the ARRL section manager. That's really cool. Oklahoma's doing a lot of good stuff, and this group is always talked about everywhere I go. People are saying, "What are they doing in Norman?"
Talked about in a good way.
Yes, until we bring up Peter Law's name, and then it falls off the edge, nosedive. But it is really cool that the state's looking at us and trying to beat us, which is good.
Good. All right, awesome. Thank you, Mr. Klein. All right, let's move right through our nets real quick. We're gonna go to the 10-meter net, Mr. Bill.
Join us on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. on 28,445 upper sideband. With the increase in sunspots, it's picking up a little bit. Usually there's quite a bit of traffic on there, but by 8 o'clock, it starts to die off. But come and join us on Wednesday nights. 6 meter.
Go ahead.
Jim is not here. We have the 6 meter net on Monday nights at 8 p.m. on 50.200. He's got his antenna back up in the air and is blazing away. So come and join us.
All right, we appreciate that. Let me put on my roller skates and move over here to Mr. Denny. Denny's gonna talk about the MACnet and the gossip net.
Okey doke. Tuesday night following the Aries net is the gossip net on the repeater. And come join us. We talk about anything you want. Have pretty good attendance there. And anyway, and enjoy. And now the MACnet is at 9 o'clock in the mornings, Monday through Saturday. And they've been running some it's been in the 30s, 38, I think 40 hit the other day. But it's been in the upper 30s. On a bad day when it's cold or miserable or something, it's down in the mid 20s. So quite a bit of activity there. Talk about whatever you like. Again, we cover the daytime, folks. And 9 o'clock, repeater 6 days a week. Thank you very much. Oh, the in person is at the McDonald's on Lindsay and McGee. Right beside Sonic, second building from the corner of McGee to the east. Anyhow, good show up over there. They run a dozen folks from time to time. So anyhow, good place for coffee and a little snack of some kind. Lucky's favorite place. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Denny. And we're gonna go to Mr. Phil here. He's gonna talk about the Aries net.
Our Tuesday night net, what we affectionately call Aries net. We hold that each Tuesday night, 2000 local time, whatever time that is on your clock. Typically on the SCARS VHF repeater. Sometimes we switch over and do it on the UHF repeater. Purpose of that is to encourage you to check out and maintain an operational UHF station. We're averaging about 33 check-ins. The net control operators are doing a great job. Galen had an interesting program last Tuesday night. So we'll carry that on. That's it.
All right. Appreciate you, Phil. We appreciate all you guys participating in this. So we're gonna go Mr. Lee, who's gonna talk about the DMR net.
Thank you, sir. Every Monday night, 8:15 p.m. That means Mickey's big hand is on the 3. On talk group 3140, both upper and lower sideband. No, anyway, DMR talk group 3140. We have the statewide Aries net. And with that, we always try to have a little training session with it every week. Been doing real well lately. We're not only having folks from the state, but also several from out of state are joining us on a weekly basis. So if you have DMR capability, 8:15 p.m. Monday night, talk group 3140.
All right, we appreciate that. Peter Laws,
Yes.
talk about the CERN net.
Oh, every Saturday at noon, the cities of the Central Oklahoma Emergency Management Association test their outdoor warning system sirens at noon, almost precisely, depending on the city. We run a net where we have observers go out. They've each adopted a siren or more than one siren sometimes, or sometimes, Al,
They recruit their friends to report on sirens. You always have to, if you're net control, you have to take out a piece of paper before Al's report because it's lengthy, and that's cool. But we provide ground truth, much like the Skywarn net. We provide ground truth. You know, the telemetry tells them that the sirens are sounding or not sounding, and we confirm or reject that report. We've been doing this now. I can't believe it's been like, what, 2017 we started, I think. It's been 5 years already. There's actually statistics if you dig around on the website. If you go to w5nor.org/siren, you'll find out all the information you need. We currently cover Norman, of course, and more, but also Noble and Newcastle. And we've been sending a lot of reports along. There's maps there. I see them going by behind Wayne's head. That show it's out of the way. Oh, thank you, Vanna. Yeah, we have people that go out and listen to sirens. And again, as I've said, I think every time we are not looking for reports of I hear sirens. We are looking for reports like Norman Siren 54 tests good. And we'll get you, if you're interested in that and there's a siren near you that you'd like to take care of, we'll get you hooked up on that, get you on the roll call. It is a roll call net, and we solicit the observers and then take the reports, and then we pass them on. And Mark has set up a nice system on our website that keeps track of all the data and generates a report about 1700 hours or so on Saturday afternoon after it's all done, that automatically gets mailed to the emergency manager. So it's pretty cool. Been doing it for a couple of years now. It's on the UHF repeater on purpose because there's plenty of stuff on the VHF repeater. So yeah, if you're interested in that, we can probably accommodate you. It's a little harder in downtown Norman and downtown Moore, but actually Moore, we could use more spotters in Moore now that I think about it. We had one good one that was doing 3 sirens that moved away. At one time, Wayne was doing 2 or 3 and more, and he moved out to Newcastle. So yeah, we could always use help there. Wayne, back to you.
Actually, you're going to get Galen for a second, because I wanted to make sure that at least in Moore, the report that comes in to me as the emergency manager every week, stating who all was out and checking our sirens, that report gets forwarded as part of my weekly departmental report to my city manager, my assistant city manager. And if we ever had an area coordinator at the state, it gets forwarded there too. So your work does not go unnoticed, not only by the emergency managers, who are greatly appreciative of the work that's done, but we send it on to our bosses as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Galen. So Peter, tell us about the VE report.
Oh yeah, I actually updated the slide. If the slide master there can put up the new hams thing, because I forgot we had a test session at the Hammerama Ding Dong down in Ardmore. We had 2 candidates there, both techs, both upgraded to general. That was good. One lady was really nervous, and she was very happy to pass. I don't know why she was nervous. I think she missed one. And she also got a vanity call sign right around the same time, which kind of screwed up some paperwork, but don't worry about that. It's all taken care of. And then we had another, yeah, there it is. It's up on the screen now. We had a local guy, W1NGR, upgraded to general. He lives up in Oklahoma City. We test every month on the first Thursday. Next one is December 1st. Is that right? Did I get that right? I don't know. It's on the slide, but I can't actually see the slide.
Yes.
It is December 1st. Okay. Yeah. I heard some people say they were going to test, but I don't have really very many people signed up. So make sure you sign up at w5nor.org/license.
Okay.
I'll get you fixed up.
Thank you, Peter. So real quick, Peter, talk about Amazon Smile.
Damn, I knew you were going to do that. Okay, wait a minute. I got a spreadsheet here somewhere.
Well, I know we got to pay out because the treasurer said.
Yeah, I know.
Even
and the treasurer's doing a good job. Even with the skim he takes off the top, he's still doing a good job. So it looks like for the year, We've gotten $34 from associates and $360 from Smile. If you go to smile.amazon.com, when you're going to spend money at Amazon anyway, go to smile.amazon.com, designate the South Canadian Amateur Radio Society, Inc., a IRS 501c3 charitable organization, as your favorite charity, and we will get 1/2 of 1% of anything you buy. And it doesn't seem like a lot, and it's not, given how much money Amazon has. A little chintzy, I think. But anyway, but we appreciate the donation. I mean, as I said, $360 this year alone. Our total since we started doing this, and affiliate, Smile didn't exist, but affiliates goes back further. We started doing that in 2009. Together, $2,500 to the club. And it costs you nothing. You don't see that on your bill. As long as you use smile.amazon.com to buy your stuff, it's the same site. It's just a little bit of your money goes to Scars. If you have a different charity that you want to support, hey, that's cool. But if you don't, think about Scars, because this, let me tell you, this quarter is the one where we usually clean up. So.
Okay. Appreciate that. So Mr. Larry Goodwin's got one last thing to talk about.
His skim, probably.
Hey, mute that guy, will you?
Okay, currently, we're at the end of the year, obviously, and membership dues come due at the first of the year. We currently have 16 members of 2023. Some of them paid double last year. Some of them have already paid this year. If you paid since August online, you've been put into the 2023 list. So we are taking dues currently for next year. So but they aren't actually due till the first year. But if you want to get ahead of the game, feel free.
All right, we appreciate it. We had a question here. No, question withdrawn. All right, anybody else got any business for the meeting? No? Then let's call this meeting adjourned. You still got 3 minutes to make the game kick off. Next meeting, December 10th.
Is that it? Are we done?
We're done, Peter.
Oh, all right.
Yep,
Cool.
I believe they're done.
All right. It's very exciting.
He said adjourn.
He did.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right.
He did say the key word there.
Mark's turning everything off.
Okay. All right. I was busy paying my dues on the website, so.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Testing.
Yeah, I'm looking out the window and there's snow on the ground.
Put up your mouth and talk, seriously.
I know.
Hey, quick announcement. I've got a Yaesu FT450D rig HF plus 6 meter for sale up here if anyone's interested.
An HF what now?
FT450, I think you said.
Oh, okay. That's a nice radio.
Those are nice radios. Of course, he's selling it when I'm not in the position where I can buy it.
That's right. That's how that works, man.
I know.
So you've moved?
Yeah, I'm up in Indiana now.
Okay. You still driving?
Yep, but I'm in a day cab, so I'm home every night, or sometimes day if they've got me on a night route. But I sleep in my own bed every time, so that's been very
Wow.
nice.
Well, that's cool.
So
What-
yeah, I'm
what-
still getting settled in, and
Yeah.
of course I've been checking in on the Indiana DMR net on Tuesdays for a while, so I'd already started to make a few contacts before I moved, so that was nice.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, there's about 1.5 inches of snow on the ground right now.
I'm sorry, snow is that? Actually, I shouldn't say anything. There was actually a dusting around
Yeah,
here.
I saw the pictures. I saw some pictures from some friends of mine last night. Got a little bit of a dusting there.
Mike Morgan said we were going to get 3 feet, I think, and it turned out to be a dusting, which is for him is pretty good. I mean, he wasn't far off.
Right. Yeah. He that was closer than he tends to be on that kind of stuff.
It really is. Oh man.
That explains why I had some friends in Texas calling me and making sure I was okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
They must have been watching Mike Morgan.
Yeah.
You know, we can't handle a dusting of snow down here.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but
Well, that's true. They're in Austin. They don't know what to do with a dusting.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't know what to do with that.
well, are we turn that? I guess I can't turn that off. I don't have permission to turn that off. Okay.
Guess I'm out of here, guys. Have a great day. See you
Yeah, I
later.
was going to say, I think I'm going to pull the plug on this, or at least I'm going to not be co-host anymore.
There you go.
I don't know if that pulls. The plug. Good to see you, man.
guys. Yeah,
Come back
absolutely.
anytime. We do Tuesday nights too.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
They're-
yeah. If I'm home on a Tuesday, I always forget about that because I was so used to being over the road on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
And driving, so I'm gonna have to remember that on evenings when I'm home.
Yeah. Yeah. Elmer Night's as popular as ever. They've been doing it in person. I don't generally go down there, but I do often get on the Zoom part of it, and we sort of have a parallel discussion about stuff. But it's kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, I'll have to get in on that.
All righty, man. I'm gonna push my button here. I don't know if this will kill the whole thing or not, but we'll see you later.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye. Bye, Al.